Stop sharing everything, not because your story is unimportant, but because you are important. In a world where we are encouraged to speak, post, explain, and expose every chapter of our life, we forget one essential lesson. Not all listeners are healers. Some people listen to understand, but many listen only to judge, compare, gossip, or weaken your confidence. Education is not just about learning what to say, it is also about learning when to stay silent. Every time you share your pain with the wrong audience, you give them the power to define your wounds. And when people who have never walked your path start commenting on your journey, confusion begins. Silence, on the other hand, gives you space to think, reflect, and grow. It allows your thoughts to mature before they are exposed to opinion that may not be kind or informed. Privacy is not hiding. Privacy is protecting your dreams while they are fragile, protecting your healing while it is incomplete, protecting your plans before they are ready to face the noise of the world. Just like a seed grows best under the soil before it becomes a tree, your transformation also needs darkness, patience, and quiet. We often overshare because we seek validation. We want someone to say, "You're right," or "I understand." But real strength is learning to validate yourself. When you stop explaining yourself to everyone, you start trusting yourself more. Education teaches us that confidence is not built by applause, but by inner alignment. Boundaries are not walls, they are filters. They decide who gets access to your mind, your emotions, and your struggles. When you don't set boundaries, people start treating your life like public property, and slowly you lose ownership of your own story. Teaching yourself where to draw the line is one of the most powerful lessons in personal development. Oversharing also delays healing. When you keep repeating your pain, you relive it again and again. Healing requires reflection, not repetition. Sometimes the most educational thing you can do for yourself is to sit with your emotions, understand them, and let them pass without turning them into conversations with people who cannot carry them responsibly. And remember this, people who truly care do not need constant updates. They can see your growth in your peace, your discipline, and your progress. Let your success, your calmness, and your consistency speak. Results have a language that everyone understands, and they don't require explanations. So stop sharing everything. Share selectively. Speak intentionally. Grow quietly, because the strongest transformations happen when no one is watching, and the most powerful lessons are learned in silence. Not everyone needs access to your story, and this is one of the hardest lessons to learn, especially when you are emotional, vulnerable, or excited about something new in your life. When pain hits you, the first instinct is to talk, to explain, to unload your heart onto anyone who seems available. But wisdom teaches you to pause and ask yourself who is truly safe to hear this. Some people don't want to understand you, they want to analyze you, measure you, compare you, or worse, use your words against you later. When you give everyone access to your story, you unknowingly give them access to your emotion, your doubts, and your unfinished healing. And unfinished things are easy to break. Take this as advice you carry with you every day. Not everyone deserves to know what you are going through, because not everyone has the emotional maturity to hold it with care. Some people listen just to feel superior. Some listen to gossip. Some listen to feel entertained by your struggle. And some listen only so they can remind you of your past when you are trying to move forward. Silence in such moments is not weakness, it is intelligence. Silence is you choosing self-respect over unnecessary explanations. When you stop sharing everything, something powerful happens inside you. You start listening to yourself more. You stop outsourcing your decisions to opinions. You stop shrinking your truth just to make it acceptable to others. Advice is only helpful when it comes from someone who has wisdom, empathy, and alignment with your values. Random opinions can confuse you, slow you down, and make you doubt paths that were actually right for you. This is something Muniba Mazari often reflects through her life without needing to explain every detail. Strength does not come from telling the world how strong you are. It comes from standing tall, even when no one knows the battles you are fighting. You do not owe everyone an explanation. You do not owe everyone access to your pain. Your journey is sacred, and sacred things are protected, not displayed. Learn this deeply. People who truly care will not demand details. They will respect your silence. They will understand your boundaries. And those who get offended by your privacy are usually the ones who benefited from your oversharing. Let that realization change how freely you speak. Your words are powerful, and power must be used with intention. Sometimes the most loving thing you can do for yourself is to say nothing at all and let time do the talking. Let your growth be quiet. Let your healing be private. Let your plans stay unnamed until they become reality. When you stop sharing everything, you stop leaking energy. You stop reopening wounds just to explain why they hurt. You stop carrying regret for saying too much to the wrong people. Protect your story until it is strong enough to stand on its own, because when the foundation is solid, no opinion can shake it. And when the heart is guarded with wisdom, peace becomes your natural state. Privacy is not weakness, it is wisdom. And this is something you learn only after life teaches you the cost of being too open with the wrong people. Many people think strength means explaining yourself loudly, defending every decision, and proving your pain to the world. But real strength is knowing that you don't need approval to be valid. Wisdom teaches you that not every battle needs a witness and not every emotion needs an audience. When you protect your private life, you are not hiding, you are choosing peace over noise. Listen carefully. People who call privacy arrogance or fear usually benefit from knowing too much about you. They want access, not because they care, but because information gives them power. When they know your fears, they know where to hurt you. When they know your plans, they know where to discourage you. When they know your struggles, they know how to judge you. Wisdom is recognizing this pattern early and stepping back without guilt. Take this as strong advice. The more private you are, the more powerful you become. Privacy allows you to think clearly without external pressure. It allows you to make decisions based on alignment, not applause. When everyone knows your next move, you start living for their reactions instead of your own growth. Privacy gives you freedom to fail quietly, RN deeply, and rise stronger without explanations. This is a lesson reflected deeply in the life of Muniba Mazari. She did not become powerful by exposing every wound for validation. She became powerful by owning her story on her terms. Wisdom is not about silence all the time, it is about selective sharing. You choose who gets access based on trust, consistency, and emotional safety, not based on how long you've known someone, how close they claim to be. Understand this clearly. Wise people don't announce their pain while they are bleeding. They retreat, heal, reflect, and return transformed. When you talk too much while you are hurting, you give others a front row seat to your confusion. And confusion attracts opinions that weaken you. Privacy creates space for clarity. It allows you to process emotions without interference and find answers within yourself. There is also dignity in privacy. Some experiences are sacred, not secret, sacred. They shape you, humble you, and strengthen you. Broadcasting them can cheapen their meaning. Wisdom knows the difference between sharing to inspire and sharing to seek sympathy. One builds you, the other drains you. When you choose privacy, you choose self-respect. Let this sink in. The world does not need to know everything about you to respect you. In fact, mystery often commands more respect than explanation. People take you more seriously when you stop oversharing and start standing firm in silence. Your calmness becomes your stop. Timid, your boundaries become your language. Protecting your private life does not make you distant. It makes you intentional. You stop reacting and start responding. You stop leaking energy and start conserving it. And when your energy is protected, your focus sharpens, your confidence deepens, and your life begins to feel lighter, stronger, and more in control. Silence protects your energy and focus more than you realize. And this is something you only understand after you have wasted years explaining yourself, reacting to opinions, and fighting battles that never deserved your attention. Every word you speak carries energy. And when you speak unnecessarily, especially to the wrong people, you leak that energy slowly without noticing. Advice for your life is this: not every thought needs to be spoken. Not every emotion needs to be expressed. And not every reaction needs a voice. When you stay silent, you create space for clarity. Noise outside creates noise inside. Too many conversations, too many explanations, too many justifications pull your focus in different directions. Silence pulls it back to the center. It allows you to hear your own intuition again. It allows you to think deeply instead of reacting instantly. This is not about becoming cold or distant. It is about becoming grounded. Understand this deeply. People who talk the most about their plans often execute the least. Why? Because talking creates a false sense of achievement. The brain feels rewarded just by speaking, and the fire to act slowly fades. Silence keeps the hunger alive. Silence keeps the vision sharp. When no one knows your next move, there is no pressure to perform for approval, only the discipline to perform for yourself. This is strong advice. When you stop reacting to everything, you stop giving people control over your emotions. Not every comment deserves a response. Not every opinion deserves your time. When you respond to everything, you train people to believe they can access you whenever they want. Silence teaches them that your energy is valuable. And when your energy is protected, your focus becomes unstoppable. Look at the strength reflected in the journey of Muniba Mazari. Her power was not in loud reactions, but in composed silence, in choosing when to speak and when to let her presence do the talking. Silence is not empty. It is full of awareness. It is the pause that gives power to your next move. Silence also protects your healing. When you talk while you are still processing pain, you confuse yourself further. Everyone gives advice based on their own experiences, not yours. Too many voices blur your direction. Silence allows healing to happen without interruption. It allows wounds to close instead of being reopened through constant retelling. Take this as life advice. When you remain silent, you observe more. You see patterns. You understand people's intentions without them saying much. You stop missing red flags because you are too busy explaining yourself. Silence sharpens your perception. It helps you recognize who respects you and who only reacts when they can provoke you. Your focus is your greatest asset. Every unnecessary conversation drains it. Every argument steals it. Every explanation wastes it. Silence gives it back to you. It channels your attention toward growth, discipline, and progress. When you protect your focus, you protect your future. Silence is not absence of voice. It is mastery over it. It is knowing that you don't need to announce your strength, your goals, or your struggles. You let your consistency speak. You let your progress make the noise. You move quietly, powerfully, and intentionally, conserving energy, sharpening focus, and building a life that no distraction can derail. Oversharing can delay healing and growth in ways you don't notice at first, because it feels relieving in the moment to talk, to vent, to let everything spill out. But relief is not the same as recovery. Advice you must remember is this: healing needs space, not constant narration. When you keep telling your story while you are still hurting, you keep reopening wounds that are trying to close. Every retelling pulls you back into the emotion instead of allowing you to move through it. And growth gets paused while pain stays active. Understand this clearly. When you overshare, you invite too many interpretations of your pain. Everyone listens through the lens of their own experiences, their own biases, their own limitations. Some minimize your struggle. Some exaggerate it. Some judge it. And some give advice that doesn't fit your reality at all. All these voices mix inside your head and create confusion. Healing requires clarity, not chaos. Growth requires direction, not distraction. Take this as strong life advice. You do not need to explain your hurt to heal from it. You need time, reflection, and self-honesty. Oversharing often comes from a place of wanting to be understood, but the truth is, no one can fully understand your internal battles the way you can. When you rely on external validation to feel okay, you delay the moment. You learn to soothe, guide, and strengthen yourself. There is also something powerful you must realize. When you keep sharing your pain, you start identifying with it. Your story becomes your identity. Instead of a chapter, you are moving beyond. Growth happens when you stop introducing yourself through your wounds and start defining yourself through your resilience. Silence helps you detach from pain without denying it. It gives you room to evolve without constantly being pulled back into who you were. This lesson is deeply reflected in the journey of Muniba Mazari. Strength was not built by repeating suffering, but by transforming it privately and speaking only when the message was ready to educate and inspire. Healing is not loud. It is quiet, messy, and deeply personal. Growth happens in moments no one applauds, no one comments on, and no one fully sees. Oversharing also keeps you emotionally exposed. When you talk too much about what hurts you, you stay vulnerable longer than necessary. Not everyone protects vulnerability. Some people unconsciously poke at it. Some remind you of it when you are trying to forget. Healing requires safety, and safety comes from selective sharing. Growth requires boundaries, and boundaries begin with silence. Listen carefully. Talking too much about your problems can trap you in them. Thinking, reflecting, and acting quietly helps you move forward. There is a difference between sharing to heal and sharing to relive. One empowers you, the other exhausts you. Learn to recognize when speaking is helping and when it is holding you back. Let yourself heal without an audience. Let yourself grow without updates. When you stop oversharing, you give your mind permission to settle, your heart permission to recover, and your life permission to move forward with strength, clarity, and quiet confidence. Boundaries are a form of self-respect, and if you don't build them intentionally, life will build them for you through pain, exhaustion, and disappointment. This is advice you need to hear clearly. People treat you the way you allow them to, not the way you wish they would. When you say yes to everything, explain everything, tolerate everything, you slowly teach others that your time, emotions, and energy are negotiable. Boundaries are the moment you decide that your well-being matters as much as your kindness. Many people confuse boundaries with selfishness, but that confusion comes from those who benefit from your lack of limits. Setting boundaries is not about pushing people away. It is about protecting what is sacred inside you. When you have no boundaries, you are constantly available, constantly drained, constantly adjusting yourself to keep others comfortable. Respect begins the moment you stop over-explaining and start standing firm. Take this as strong life advice. You do not need to justify your boundaries to people who cross them. The need to explain often comes from guilt, and guilt comes from forgetting your own worth. When something drains you, hurts you, or disrespects you, that is reason enough. Boundaries are not debates, they are decisions. The more you argue for them, the weaker they appear. Calm consistency is what makes them powerful. Understand this deeply. Boundaries teach people how to love you properly. When you tolerate disrespect, people assume it is acceptable. When you stay silent about discomfort, people assume you are fine. When you finally speak up after years of silence, they call you changed. You didn't change, you finally chose yourself. That choice is not betrayal, it is growth. This wisdom is reflected clearly in the strength shown by Muniba Mazari. Dignity was never demanded loudly. It was carried quietly through self-respect and clear limits. When you respect yourself, you stop begging for understanding. You stop chasing validation. And you stop shrinking your needs to fit into spaces that were never meant for you. Boundaries also protect your emotional health. Without them, you absorb other people's problems, moods, and expectations until you feel overwhelmed and resentful. Then you blame yourself for feeling tired, when the real issue is that you never gave yourself permission to say no is not rejection. It is redirection toward a healthier version of you. Listen carefully. People who truly care will adjust, not argue. They may not like your boundaries, but they will respect them. Those who get angry, guilt trip you, or disappear were never respecting you in the first place. Boundaries reveal intentions. They show you who values you for who you are, and who only values what you provide. This is advice you carry forward. Every boundary you set strengthens your confidence. Every time you honor your limits, you reinforce the belief that your needs matter. Self-respect is not built overnight. It is built every time you choose discomfort over self-betrayal. At first, boundaries feel heavy, awkward, and uncomfortable. With time, they feel natural, freeing, and empowering. When you stop overgiving, stop over-explaining, and stop over-tolerating, your life becomes lighter. Your relationships become clearer. Your energy returns. Boundaries are not walls, they are doors with locks, and you decide who gets the key. Let your results speak louder than your words, because words are easy and outcomes are undeniable. This is advice you learn after realizing how often people talk about change without ever becoming it. When you explain your goals, announce your plans, and defend your intentions, you create noise. But noise does not equal progress. Real power is quiet. It moves without announcement and arrives without apology. Understand this deeply. People will doubt you no matter what you say. Some will misunderstand you, some will underestimate you. And some will secretly hope you fail. Explaining yourself does not change that. Results do. When you succeed quietly, you remove the need for validation. You stop convincing and start becoming. This shift changes everything inside you. Take this as strong advice. Stop telling people what you are going to do and start showing them what you have done. Talking too much invites opinions, distractions, and unnecessary pressure. Everyone has advice for plans that are still in progress. But once results appear, conversations change. Respect those consistency, not promises. This is something reflected powerfully in the journey of Muniba Mazari. Strength was not built by explaining limitations, but by rising beyond them and letting resilience speak. When your actions align with your values, your life becomes your message. You don't need to announce your growth. People feel it when they are around you. Letting results speak also protects your focus. When you keep your goals private, you stay committed for the right reasons. You are not chasing applause. You are chasing purpose. Silence keeps your discipline sharp and your motivation pure. The moment you stop performing for others, you start performing for yourself, and that is where real transformation begins. Listen carefully. Effort is invisible until it isn't. No one sees the late nights, the self-doubt, the sacrifices, or the discipline. And they don't need to. You don't need witnesses for your struggle. You need consistency. Results are built in silence and revealed in impact. When people finally notice, it feels sudden to them, but you know how long it took. Another powerful truth: when you let results speak, you avoid unnecessary conflict. You don't argue, explain, or defend your choices. You move forward while others talk. You stay focused while others speculate. And in time, your progress answers every question they never stopped asking. This advice is not about proving people wrong. It is about proving yourself right. It is about keeping promises to yourself instead of making announcements to others. Each small win strengthens your confidence. Each step forward builds momentum. And one day, without speeches or explanations, your life stands as evidence of your commitment. So move quietly, work consistently, improve daily. Let your growth be felt, not heard. When your actions become your voice, you no longer need approval because your results carry a truth that words can never replace.